Yeah, I mean, listen, seeing him like that from playing with him and understand the person he is. When he had his first injury, some kind of arm problem, he, complained about it, took a couple of days off. This has been nagging for a while, whether it's been in the joint, whether it's been in the elbow or the shoulder, whatever it is. And they never said it was this bad. So, like, for me, thinking about it, it's like, how many times does a person have to get injured to figure out that this is the big blow? Like, I don't know. I feel so terrible for the guy because he cares and understands there's a big opportunity in Texas here. But there's been a lot of injuries that he's had over the course of a couple of years now. We're like, oh man, it might be the flag. I don't know exactly what they said, but it could be this, it could be that. And now they're saying it's the big one. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to say they didn't see it, but at the same time, they had to figure, like, maybe this could be part of it. Why don't we explore this and go in there and finally see exactly what he's got? But I don't know. He's had numerous MRIs on this arm, man, and I feel for the dude just knowing him personally.
You could see his emotion go from saying, "Oh, I've been through this before. I have to do it again," to like he's not going to be out there with his team. Like he signed here in Texas, probably believed in what they brought in, what they were building in Texas before we believed it, because he's signing there, he's committed. Yes, everyone's going to say, well, he went for the money, all that stuff. People want to go places and win. And he knew he was coming there to win. So you kind of saw, like, yes, he cried through most of the interview, but you saw it when he was saying how much he's like, I got to go through this again. Like, it's an uphill battle. Even if he gets the bracing, I forget what it's called, the UCL bracing or the elbow bracing instead of full Tommy John surgery, it's still, it's a full year of rehab, and he's 34, 35 years old now. So it's something that's laying heavy on him, but then he's also not going to be out there with the boys, which he clearly made a connection with his teammates.
Let's bring in our friend, our insider, Ken Rosenthal, on this topic, and we'll run through a lot more with Ken, but we'll start with the Jacob deGrom news. So, Ken, your reaction when you saw and heard from Jacob deGrom yesterday, and can you run through what this means going forward from a front office perspective for the ball club? Because, of course, they invested a lot in him, about $70 million through the first two seasons. We talked, 2 days ago about Strasburg not having any insurance on his contract. This one seems like it was orchestrated differently, right?
Actually, no, there's no insurance here either, Scott. And really, the problem was deGrom had so many injuries in recent years, as Todd had said, that getting insurance for him would have been prohibitively expensive. You could do it, but it would have cost so much it would not have been a reasonable investment. So the Rangers did not do that. They were hoping he'd stay healthy. Maybe they could buy insurance for the second, third, fourth years, but that's not going to happen either now. And as for my reaction, and from the front office perspective, first, the front office perspective, obviously this is, as you said, Scott, $75 million nearly down the drain because he's probably not going to pitch much next year. So that's 2 years of the 5. He's older. He has to come back from this. And at the same time, I remember talking to Rangers people right after he signed, and they were confident that his arm looked good. And yet, I can't get out of my head that he had a TJ in 2010. And they don't last forever. So this was always a possibility. And the Rangers rolled the dice here. They took a risk, and obviously now it's backfiring on them. That's from the team's perspective. From anyone who loves the sport and loves watching Jacob deGrom pitch, it's so crushing and so disappointing. Not as much as it is, of course, for Jacob, but this is a rare player. He is an elite pitcher, really the best one of our generation when he has been on the mound. Now, Andy McCullough of The Athletic wrote a good article today, I thought, making the comparison between deGrom and Tim Lincecum. These guys were like comets, right? They kind of came and went. Now, deGrom lasted longer, I get all that. But it's almost as if their bodies could not withstand what they were doing to it. So from that perspective, clearly a loss for the Rangers, their front office, their fans, everyone who is so excited to see him pitch in Texas. But it is also a loss for the sport because when you have a player like this who can't perform, there's just a void. And that's what we're missing without Jacob deGrom.